was successful against the Plishtim in Keilah, he's almost actually get caught by Shaul. And then we are going to the second episode with the people of Midbar Zif. Now think about it. Zif is in the area of Yehuda. The people of his own shevet, of his own tribe, by the way, volunteered. Shaul never asked them, please find David, I will reward you. No, they are going to Shaul to offer him to find David and to bring him to Shaul. The people, this is really hurtful. It's not the people of Israel, the people of Binyamin from the shevet of Shaul. These are his own people. This is very, very hurting. And you know what? As we saw the last time, they were that close to David. They almost caught him. Remember what we said? V'David olech bechofza. This is a very unique word. We remember it from Yetziat Mitzrayim, when a person in a hurry, in unusual hurry, is running away. So they are running away from Egypt. He is running away from Shaul, but he is not aware that the army of Shaul is coming like atara, vayatru. It's like a crown. They come from all sides. And then the most unexpected thing is happening. Shaul hears that the Plishtim are fighting. Shaul did not fight against Goliath. Shaul did not fight when they came to Keilah. But right now, he's going back to fight against Plishtim. What happened here? First lesson is that when David lost hope, remember the famous pasuk that we said in the Hallel, Ani amarti bechofzi kol ha'adam kozev. According to our Chachamim, the word bechofzi, which is parallel to chipazon, was said then. He said at this moment, Shmuel was mistaken. When Shmuel told me that I'm going to be the next king, he made a mistake. Because he knew that it's a matter of minutes, an hour, two, until Shaul is going to find him and to kill him. And Hashem told him, you never know what I plan next. The same Plishtim that before you were afraid that they are going to kill you, are now going to be your saviors. When Shaul heard in the end of Perik Chav Gimel that Plishtim are coming, he went after them against all odds, because he never did it in the last year that he started to run after David. So Hashem sent a very powerful message to David. You never say there is no hope. If you want to be the king of Israel, you have to believe in God in the most unusual way. Very powerful lesson that as a nation we learn from time to time. Many times we think there is no hope, there is no chance. Jewish history provides us with proof. Ani amarti bechofzi. We sometimes say too prematurely, there is no chance, there is no way to escape this trouble. We went through troubles. Hashem somehow managed to help us to survive catastrophes. This is a very important lesson to David. And we say something which I think is very, very important. So what indeed happened to Shaul, that now, when he's meters away from David, now, from all times, take another half an hour, finish with David, go to the Plishtim. What happened then? A mystery. He almost like he's in his hand. It's like just Oshet Hayad Vegabam, as they say. Like, just send your hand, take David, kill him, go now to fight with the Plishtim.
Did he really know how close he was?
Yeah, the Chadal are saying that he was like just about like, imagine something like this, David is here and they are here. Like,
there's no question that he was that close.
Yes.
Did he know that he was that close? Because if he didn't know that it was that close...
He knew that he's very close. I'm sure that he knew. He maybe even saw the soldiers, the 400 people of David. It was a matter of very short time. A beautiful idea that came up, and I think it's very true. Because he was so close to David, it's like a radioactive radiation. It's something like a magnetic field. David is a person who is equipped with Ruach Hashem. Shaul, when he is around David, is a changed person. So because of proximity to David, Shaul himself is changing. Remember, when Shaul is coming to Shmuel, he becomes a Navi. Shaul is a unique person. He's very influenced, which is good in one way. It's terrible on another way. When you are a king and you are influenced by other things, it's not good. That was the problem of Shaul. But at the same time, around great people, like Shmuel, like David, he was a changed person. And maybe the proximity to David brought him back to his senses. I'm a king. I have responsibilities. He remembered, in the last minutes or last month of his life, what he stands for. Around David, Shaul became a different person. So it might be that the proximity to David at this point made the change, the psychological change, the spiritual change, and he stood once again before the real Shaul, the king, the person with Ruach Hashem of the past, and the Ruach Hashem was revived at this point.
Could
Yes.
he have realized that he had messed it up so many times before? He better not mess it up this time, because otherwise David might take over from him, and maybe that's why he stood up.
So I think that you hit
Because
upon
he's,
a very important point that we are going to discuss today. Until now, you see the Tanakh and every great literature, lehavdil, sometimes when we want to highlight one of the heroes of the story, the positive one, the negative one, we have to extreme the situation. We have to make it so clear that he's a bad guy, he's a good guy, he's a wonderful person. But, people are more complicated than that. And as I said, what we are going to see about Shaul in the coming parak, which is one of the most profound psychological chapter in the Tanakh maybe, is how complex every person is, how complex maybe we are, how complex are even the people, the kings of Israel, people with power. You never say about a person, he is completely like, lo shayach, this is a terrible person. And sometimes you cannot see the wonderful person either. People have all kind of shades that created them the interesting people they are. And therefore, I would like to use your comment to understand what happened in Perek Chavdalet. Like, where was Shaul indeed in this drama? What did he really think? What did he really want? Because this is strange. What happened at the end of Perek Chav Gimel is really strange. After all the efforts, that close, he goes back to fight against the Plishtim when he failed to do it for the last 3 times. Strange. So let's start to read Perek Chavdalet. ויעל דוד משם, וישב במצדות עין גדי. How many people here visited Ein Gedi? Beautiful national park in Israel. It's really nice. Ein Gedi. What do you remember from Ein Gedi?
Dates.
What?
Dates.
Hills.
Dates. There are dates. You're right, in the kibbutz of Ein Gedi, yes. The falls. In other words, let's say water, because you have to know that the falls today in Nachal Arugot, next to Ein Gedi, is only the water that used to be there. Because most of the water is taken for the kibbutzim in the area, kibbutz Ein Gedi and Bokek. Some of them are going back to Yerushalayim actually. So the beautiful waterfall that we see in Nachal Arugot, Nachal David and Nachal Arugot, and these are 2, Nachal David, Nachal Arugot, and it got his name because David was there. Water, right? What else?
Hills.
What?
Mountains.
Mountains.
Climbing up to the top.
נכון, מעלה, it calls מעלה חבר, just on top of נחל ערוגות. You're right, it's a very hard one. Sometimes, unfortunately, we hear in the Kite some yeshiva guys who think that they are immortal, are going for the desert. This is dangerous. And some people, unfortunately, in the summertime, you know, in yeshiva apparently they don't teach you that you need 3 liters at least to survive a heat. You remember the heat or you don't?
Oh, yeah.
Or you were there in an air-conditioned car. This is hot. Ein Gedi is very, very hot. So most of the days you are spending, and this is something else that you saw for sure, the caves that are dot all the hilltops and the cliffs around Nachal Arugot and Nachal David. And here is the problem. You see, on one hand, it's a wonderful place. Over the history, people used to be there. Who else found shelter in the area of En Gedi?
The people around the time of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Right, exactly. The people of the Dead Sea, Bar Kokhba. That's why we found around En Gedi so many papyrus and other documents that miraculously survived 2,400 years. That's unbelievable, just unbelievable. And they opened it, they could read it. Yigal Yadin, the famous Yigal Yadin, who found all these places, because this is ideal place, away from anywhere else, but still, although very far away, you have dates, you have ability to do some gardening, you have water. You have water. That's very important. And David find himself now running away from Shaul in the same place of Bar Kokhba, in the same place where over the history, all kind of people who left Yerushalayim for all kind of reasons, they found shelters in the area of En Gedi. But here is also a problem. What is the big problem? The big problem is exactly that. When you have this oasis in the middle of the Judean desert, you are going, as the Pasuk Bet, as the Pasuk says, Vayad b'mtzadot En Gedi, see the end of Pasuk Gimel. ויקח שאול 3,000 איש בחור מכל ישראל. 3,000 people, that's a lot. וילך לבקש את דוד ואנשיו על פני צורי היעלים. צורי היעלים mean the cliffs of the rams. Yael, what is Yael? It's a rams, it's a mountain goat. Mountain goat, something like this. What?
Wild goats.
Wild goats, yeah, something like this. And actually, until today, if you go to En Gedi, it's a good time to go. Actually, don't expect to see them at the middle of the day. The only crazy creatures who are running in the middle of the day are creatures on two. They are smart. They are going at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. to drink, and again, after everyone leave, when it's not that hot. Over the day, they are in the shadow. And by the way, that's exactly the problem. Today, we have no leopards anymore in En Gedi, but until, I think, the 80s, there were some leopards, and they are doing something very simple. They are just waiting for the prey over there, because eventually everyone in the desert need water. So they come to the spring, they come to the mapalim, to the waterfalls, where you have like nice pools, and they are just waiting, and they eat them. Until today it's a little bit better, because you don't have any more lions or mountain lions. But they used to be until the 80s. Unfortunately, they were killed by Bedouins who sold their skin. So we don't have anymore. And Shaul, once he knows that David is around En Gedi, he knows he's in his hands. Because sooner or later, and it's usually sooner, everyone needs water. You have no other way to get it. So he's waiting. I'm sure that he put 3,000 soldiers. Some of them were in the pool of Nachal David, some of them in the pool of Arugot, and you just have to be on top of the cliff and to see everything that is going down There is no problem. And David at this time had 600 people. You cannot hide 600 people for too long. So Pasuk Bet is telling us, ויהי כאשר שב שאול מאחרי פלישתים, ויגידו לו לאמור, הנה דוד במדבר עין גדי. So this is very nice. On one hand, Shaul went to fight the Plishtim, but then, the moment he does not have to do it, he is again after David, in the desert of עין גדי. ויקח שאול 3,000 איש בחור מכל ישראל, וילך לבקש את דוד ואנשיו על פני צורי היעלים. So he's going to find David. ויבוא אל גדרות הצאן אל הדרך. So there is water, there is gardening, there is also צאן, cattle, sheep and goats. ושם מערה. There is a cave. ויבוא שאול להסך את רגליו. You know, even the king had to go and, to להסך את רגליו, to pish in simple way. Yeah. So, and he had to go, he goes to the cave. We are going to see the significance of it in a second. ודוד ואנשיו בירכתי המערה יושבים. It's a huge cave. Some of the caves, let me tell you, are really big. And I can tell you about it because once, when I was younger and apparently more stupid, I tried one of these methods. Today they are fantastic. They are mapped. You have like, even in certain places, there is a place that's called Me'arat Haritun. Me'arat Haritun, this is a really big Me'ara. Because the story here is about Shaul going to the Me'ara, going to the cave, and does not see David. And for people, they think, okay, well, how big the Me'ara can be? Let me tell you, it can be very, very big. It's a limestone in the whole Judea desert, and sometimes you get like unbelievable. I mean, when I say unbelievable, I'm talking about caves which are kilometer and 200 meters, and all kind of directions. It's something to see actually. And David somehow, with his soldiers, are at the far end of this cave, or maybe even, as I said, what I remember from Me'arat Haritun very well, because at a certain point, we weren't sure that we can find our way back. It's that big, and that going all directions, and it's a complete, you have a small flashlight, and you sure when you are 18 that you remember perfectly well where you came from, and then you can find it. It's very, very scary, let me tell you that. So they were in one of these sub-tunnels of the cave, and Shaul himself is coming. And when you are in the dark, and Shaul is in the entrance to the Me'ara, you can see him, he cannot see you. That's very important, because the more darker, if this room will be dark and the hole over there is going to be light, you will be able to see who is there, but he will not be able to see us. That's very, very important. And this is an unbelievable opportunity. פסוק ה' ויאמרו אנשי דוד אליו הנה היום אשר אמר השם אליך הנה אנוכי נותן את אויביך בידיך. They tell David, this is the day, our troubles are over now. ועשית לו כאשר ייטב בעיניך. Do whatever you want to him now. ויקום דוד ויכרות את כנף המעיל אשר לשאול בלט. Quietly, he goes up to Shaul, who is apparently dealing, he has to do something, and quietly he's going behind him and managed to cut a piece from his coat. Very sharp sword. He managed to do it when Shaul himself did not see it, or maybe when he had this nature call, he took away the garment or something like this, because sometimes it's a little bit hard, especially in their days when it was completely full on you. He put it aside, and David used the opportunity and cut a piece from this garment. Now, let's first of all analyze what they told him. What did they say? הנה היום אשר אמר השם אליך הנה אנוכי נותן את אויביך בידיך. What do they say to him? What do they say? This is the day that what?
Got your enemy.
That Hashem told you that you are going to kill your enemy. When did Hashem tell him that? Anyone remember something like this? Hashem never told David anything like this. What are they talking about?
Is it when he cut the coat?
No, even before. Because they are excited. Shaul is here, David are meters away, he just comes out, Shaul is there like arranging his garments, his clothing, and with one, listen, David was a warrior. Remember what he did to Goliath, how much more so he could do to Shaul at this point. But when did Hashem say anything about it? So, here is the point. Ralbag said that they had a nevuah that was never mentioned. It was never mentioned. The Ralbag said that, and the Radak also said, he said that Gad Hanavi, who was with them, remember, because he told him to go from Moab to Yaar Cheret, he told him, listen, the moment when you are going to get rid from your enemies is coming. And the people around David knew it. The difficulty is obvious here. We never heard about it. Although the Radak had a beautiful proof to it. Because he said, if you read carefully Perek Chaf, Yonatan already said to him, when Hashem is going to kill your enemies, please save my life. Why did he say something like this? The Radak said that the people had this nevuah going around, that eventually David is going to overcome his enemies, Shaul included. So although the Tanakh does not say it, it was under current nevuah that went as a rumor from mouth to ear, from one person to another. People heard about it. This is one thing. But I think, our shita is always on derech hapshat. And I would say that in our life, we have to be sometimes aware when Hashem is talking to us with no words. I'll give you a very simple example. Very simple example and very powerful and important and fits the day that we are here. There is a big machloket in the Orthodox community, let's say. What is our attitude to Medinat Israel? There are fine Jews with long beards, davening 3 times a way, going for the most extreme kashruyot, and I'm saying it with lots of respect. And they say that Medinat Israel is Maaseh Satan, is a creation of the Satan himself. And therefore they hate the Medina and the Tzionut, and they will use any opportunity to attack Medinat Israel. And sometimes, if you are really extreme and real machmir, you will join the Hafganot of the terrorists, but chas v'chalila, don't identify yourself with Medinat Israel. We, on the other hand, see Medinat Israel as a miracle that happened to the Jewish nation. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. I want to tell you a story, an amazing story that I read yesterday in Ma'ariv, which I think is a fascinating story. There is, in Ben Yehuda Street in Yerushalayim, today it does not exist anymore, but I remember it as a child. In Yerushalayim there are many yekes. People who came from Germany, way before the war, in the 30s. Some people were smart to see what's going on with Hitler. They came to Yerushalayim. Some of them came even in the 20s, even before, real idealists. And what a yeke need? Books. So on Ben Yehuda, not far away from Eichal Shlomo, there was a bookstore that was known the Meyer family bookstore. I remember it. It was like going to a different world. Like, do you remember this one? It was like old, dark store, and you had ladders going like the second floor. It was just like going to, I don't know, it's like to go away from Yerushalayim to a different place. So on 56, I think, a high officer comes to the store and said, I need 6 books in German, because they used to do for 25 prutot, grushim, you could take a book, to borrow a book, and to bring it back for the next one. Okay, 6 books. A week later, he comes again. I need 6 books in German. Another, she said to him, listen, you are a very busy person. I know you. You are like a high officer in the police. Why you don't read 6 books a week? Are you? So he said, no, it's not for me. I cannot tell you for who it is. So another few weeks goes. He comes every week, 6 books, every week. He said, listen, I'm not going to give you any more books. You have to tell me who is the guy. So he said, it's Adolf Eichmann. Adolf Eichmann at the time was in the prison, and the Jewish people, listen, they wanted him not to get crazy in the cell, in his cell, so they bring him books. She said, oh, it's for Eichmann. Okay, listen, first of all, if he touched the book, I cannot touch it anymore. That's it. But if Medinat Israel needs it, I will give it to you. But she says, my little revenge was that from this moment, I gave him only books about the history of Israel, the Jewish people, and let him read about this one. Now, the interesting thing is, people don't know it, but Eichmann left a letter after him. And in his letter, he actually expressed a great admiration to what the Jews managed to do in Medinat Israel. The Satan himself said kind of amen for what the Jewish people managed to do after this extermination of 6 million people, breaking their spirit. Nevertheless, they came back to Yerushalayim able to judge him and to revive their life. It's an amazing story. And who knows if Mrs. Meyer, who gave him the books, did not influence his way. Not that it's important, of course, but there is something that sometimes God talks to us not through words, but through deeds. We just have to be careful to see it. There are things that we will not find in the Shulchan Aruch. There are things that we will not find in the Rambam. We will find them in our life. To see what's happening today in Medinat Israel, God is talking to us. We don't hear the words. We hear something even more powerful. We see that the Geulah is coming. After so many years, the Jews were oppressed, cannot protect themselves. Lo and behold, in 70 years, no nation under this sun managed to do what we did. God talked to us. And many, many times, if people are sensitive, a little bit, not too much, they will see it. I'm telling you, the people who don't see the hand of God in Medinat Israel, they are blind, their heart is a stone, because how can't you see that? How can't you see that? Unless you force your eyes to, and heart and ears to be closed. And the people of David, in my opinion, they never had a nevuah, but they saw it. Like, what is the chance that the king will leave his soldiers, because obviously he was without his soldiers, because otherwise they could not attack him. And after so many days that he tried to kill David, they happen to be in the same area, he does not see them, and they say, God talked to us. God is telling us here, it's the end of your misery. So sometimes God does not have to talk to you, but it's so unpredictable, it's so unexpected, that the only way to accept it is, God is talking to you, kill him. And according to some of the Mefarshim, even David understood it the first time this way. When he left his soldiers, he left them in order to kill Shaul. He himself was convinced this is right. And let's talk a little bit about it halachically. We spoke before about this halacha of rodef. When a person tried to kill me, even if I'm very pacifistic, and even if I don't want to kill other people, I have, the halacha said, this guy is rodef, not only you. Every person had the mitzvah to kill him in order to save you. You are the innocent person. He tries to kill you. Well, there is a famous halacha of rodef. Have no doubt. For David, Shaul was a rodef. If halachically he would kill him, I don't think that any Sanhedrin or any Beit Din could charge him for killing Shaul first. What can he do? Shaul try everything to do to kill him. So here is an opportunity, he will kill him first. And that's exactly what the soldiers are telling David. You know, they are also tired. Think about it. These are people, we talked about what kind of people gathered around David. They were not from the highest echelons, you know, all kind of people from the Democrat, the people from Columbia and Harvard. These were these were people who came from the bottom of the society. And they say, you have to be crazy not to kill him now. Now, apparently it was very quietly. I'm sure that Shaul did not hear them. That for sure we are going to see later. And see how the story is developed. So, he cut a piece from the garment of Shaul. Now, cutting a piece of garment, what association it brings to you? Our response, you see, by the going, there was a minhag when a person, chas v'chalila, died. The anguish, the sorrow, drive them to kill themselves, kind of. They took knives and they cut themselves and gushing blood, and it's like, oh, we wish we could kill ourselves. This is how much we are sorry. The Torah said, listen, not that the Torah say that you shouldn't be mourning over a dead person, but you have to stop at a certain point. Life goes on. You have mourning, but you don't over mourning. You don't do excessive mourning. You have to stop at a certain point. How do we cut ourselves? By ripping lo aleinu the clothing. The kriya, you have to understand, it's a replacement of something that we want kind of like kill ourselves. And we hear sometimes tragedies when a terrible tragedy happens, people sometimes commit suicide, all kind of terrible things. The Torah said, we understand, but the Torah is always Torat Chaim. You have to go back to rebuild your life. You will do something, a kriya in your beged, but you don't take the life themselves. And kriya of the beged, you have to understand it in this way. It was kind of killing Shaul. Don't take it, okay, it was like a trick. Then he showed him, you see, I could kill you. This is a very profound act. Instead of killing Shaul, taking his beged. And we spoke a few times about the begadim, how important they are. The begadim, where Jonathan give to David his clothing. When Shaul give his clothing, and David noticed the eyes of Shaul with jealousy or with concern, and he said, no, I'm not going to take your clothing. And then Jonathan give it to him, twice actually. So the begadim is important. And cutting the beged of Shaul is much more than that. How do I know? Because read carefully the next pasuk. What is the next pasuk? ויהי אחרי כן, ויך לב דוד אותו, על אשר כרת את כנף אשר לשאול. David hearts smote him, for he had severed Shaul's skirt. Most people will feel very proud for overcoming themselves in a situation like this. I would say, I could kill him, and look how noble I am. I should be proud of myself. David took it very, very differently. David felt that he did something awful, and we are going to explain why is it. So, let's assume for a second that there was kind of nevuah or knowledge or acceptance that David is going to replace Shaul. Well, David knew about it. After all, Shmuel anointed him as the next king. Why Shaul himself did not see here the opportunity? Here is the time. This is very unusual case where Shaul comes in. He's a rodef. He's remember, what did he do in En Gedi in the first place? It was not like UJA trip to En Gedi. This was like he came to kill him. So wouldn't it be just the right thing to do, like to kill him back, to protect my life? It's like actually self-defense. What did he? There is a famous halacha in rodef, which we have to understand. In rodef, it's not that the Torah gave me like a free pass. Someone is trying to kill you, kill him back. If you have a way to stop a person from killing you without killing him, and you killed him, you are a murderer. It's a very fine balance. It's a fine balance. The Torah appreciates life. Even if a person is a murderer, you can stop him if you have no other choice. You cannot say a person going with a knife in his pocket, maybe he will kill me, boom, I will shot him. First, try to call the police, try to stop him otherwise, stop. If you can shoot him in the leg, try to shoot him in the leg. That's the halacha. That's the halacha. We appreciate the value of life. We are not gangsters who are looking for the opportunity to kill people. This is a serious business, life of people. And in order to understand what David think, let's read the following psukim, because this is important. This is actually really unbelievable. Vayomer le'anashav. Because I want to ask you a question. So he comes back, and he apparently shows them the piece that he cut from Shaul's coat. Vayomer le'anashav. Now, let me ask you a question. When did he say to the people? Before he cut the garment or after? It's not so clear, right? It looks like from the flow of the story that it happened after he did it. So what did they tell him? Why does he say, Vayomer le'anashav chalila li me'Hashem? Oh, I can do it, yes.
So possibly when he came back, they were shocked and said, this is all you did with your opportunity?
Exactly. Because, first of all, you have to understand, he put them in danger too. Not killing Shaul at this point was not only a danger to David. He has 3,000 people around. If he doesn't kill him, he will kill David and them. They joined, they are collaborators with the opposition to Shaul. And they are, I'm sure, like shocked. What? You had the opportunity to kill him and that's what you bring us? Are you crazy or what? What kind of general you are? You put us in risk. You know, imagine that a unit of Tzahal is going to fight terrorists and then the commander come back and say, you know what, guys? I did not have the heart to kill him. What? I mean, are you kidding us? You let them go, they are going to kill us. It's unheard. And when you read the psukim, you have to understand from the psukim something that the psukim don't say in our face directly. What a charisma David had at this point to calm down his people. As we say, what kind of people? And what's the situation? That really they were maybe right. And you know what? Maybe of them Farshim said that when David went, he went to kill him. He was convinced by what they said. It happened to him only then, before he killed him, that he can do it. And therefore, when he came back and they are shouting, what did you do? How did you miss the opportunity? He said to them, Chalila li me'Hashem, im e'eseh et hadavar hazeh la'adoni, lemshiach Hashem, lishloach yadi bo ki mashiach Hashem hu. You hear the words. I can do it. He's Mashiach Hashem. Yeah, okay, it's Mashiach Hashem, but Mashiach Hashem tried to kill you. It doesn't say in the Torah, you should kill another person who tried to kill you unless he's Mashiach Hashem. Every person who tried to kill you, even if he happened to be Mashiach Hashem, you have to save your life first. The Torah gave you like the card. What does it say here? What does he say here? So let's see the next psukim in order to understand it. So the psukim say, pasuk chet, vayeshasa David et anashav badvarim. You know what is vayeshasa, how it's translated? And David stayed his men with these words. Leshasea, really, do you remember the story? Yeah, here it sounds like he calmed them down. But do you remember when David was meshasea someone?
The dove and the Ari.
What?
The dove and the Ari.
The dove and the Ari. Remember when he presented himself the first time to Shaul, he said, me, the little one that you don't think that I can fight against Goliath, I was meshasea et Ari. I stabbed the Ari with my bare hands. I managed to kill him. Leshasea is not just to come down. Guys, please, sit down, let's talk. Vayeshasea means they talked, and they talked harshly, and he made one scream. I don't want to repeat it. I don't want you to get scared. And he stabbed them at once. I don't want to hear a word, but like screaming and stopping it immediately. Because they wanted him to kill, and they were deeply disappointed, scared that he let him go. What happened here? What did he tell them? I'm pretty sure what David thought in his heart, and the next of the parak will prove us that he was right. When he said that he is Mashiach Hashem, what does it mean? He says, you see Shaul as a person who is solely focused on killing me. Only a person who is a bad, aggressive, try to kill innocent people. If it was true, the only way to stop him was to kill him. You're right. But I see something else. This person is after all Mashiach Hashem. He's a great man. And great people might do terrible mistakes. But you know what makes great people great? They can do tshuva, they can change. I might kill, not Shaul, but he's willing to kill me. And David had it in his mind at this point, where actually he should be overcome with his joy, the opportunity, the ability to kill Shaul. Another thought came into his mind. Maybe I can change Shaul in another way. I can kill Shaul, but he's inside. I don't know if you remember the story I told you once that appears in Rabbi Zevin. He has Sipurei Hasidim, very profound story. You know, there are some Sipurei Hasidim. Don't waste your time on them. It's just a bunch of shtusim. But Rabbi Zevin brings some stories of Hasidim which are very profound. And I think I told you this story, but it's such an important story and fits the case of David so much. A rabbi in Europe, Eastern Europe, decided to do the mitzvah of Mechiyat Amalek in Purim. And he calls his Hasidim and says, tonight we are going to come to me, we are going to do the mitzvah of Mechiyat Amalek. Mechiyat Amalek, okay. This is also like a Hasidic story. Unfortunately, Amalek killed more Jews than we killed Amaleks, unfortunately. Anyway, he said, you come to me, we are going to do the mitzvah. Everyone was very, very excited. And he comes, and the rabbi, you know, a small man, take his cane, and he's going to the local bar. They open, he said, do exactly what I'm doing. And they are amazed, but you know, Hasidim never challenge the Rebbe. If the Rebbe said he's going to kill the Amalekim, he's going to kill the Amalekim. And they look through the windows of the bar. Oh my gosh, this is every goy is like, goy is supposed to be like Esav Arasha, like big and powerful and strong and gruesome. But the rabbi stayed there. And they follow the rabbi. He opened the door. Everyone looks at him like amazed. And you think he's going to take the Tommy gun and to, no. He goes to the first goy in the inn, he hug him and start to dance with him like a Hasidic dance. The goy think that the rabbi is out of his mind, but he enjoy it. He had enough wine so far and schnapps, and he start to dance with the rabbi. The Hasidim said, well, the rabbi said, do exactly what I did. Each one of them take a goy and they start to dance with him, and the goyim love it. And after like 20 minutes, they kiss and hug the Jews and say, oh, if ever we wanted to kill you and to punish you and to hit you, you are such sweet. You are our brothers. We will never do anything for you. And the rabbi left the bar and said, we did Mechiyat Amalek. We always think about Mechiyat Amalek that we have to kill the people. But Amalek is idea, is anti-Semitism. Can you imagine that someone will be able to take away the anti-Semitism from the heart of these people? It will be also Mechiyat Amalek. Because we usually think this is unheard. And therefore we think the only way to kill Amalek is to kill him. But really Amalek is an idea. The hatred, the unbelievable hatred that the Goyim, many of them, has against the Jewish people. And that's why we mark the Yom HaShoah today. But imagine that it will be possible that one day someone will be successful to take this demon from the heart of the Goyim. This will be Mechiyat Amalek. And David believed at this point, I can kill Shaul, but without killing him, educating him. I'm going to do something so fascinating that he's going to kill his will to kill me. And if I can do it, I'm not allowed to kill him. So here stand an unbelievable leader against 600 of his people. They believe in one language, the language of power. He wants to kill you, kill him back. And David behavior as the greatest educator. And they say there is one thing that we never tried, and I'm going to show it to you. What is he doing? Vayakom. Before we are going to talk about the speech of David and the speech of Shaul that we are going to keep for next week, I want to make one important comment that I saw today in the Midrash that fascinated me to no end. The Midrash says, why David changed his mind? According to the Midrash, David wanted to kill Shaul, and he changed his mind. What changed his mind? Listen to this because this is really fascinating. The Midrash said, why the Tanakh is telling us that Shaul had a nature call, he had to go into the Me'ara, or Bechlal we can ask why Hashem created it in this way that Shaul went to the cave and David happened there. The Midrash says, David saw something very special in Shaul. You know, a person is in the middle of the war. I can tell you a little bit about it. When you are in a tank, when you are in a vehicle, one of your greatest troubles is not always the enemy who is shooting there or waiting for you. It's what is here. You are after hours inside the tank. You don't think about it, but sometimes the tank is filthy because you cannot go out. You have to do what you ate inside the tank. If you are lucky enough, it will be in a plastic bag. Sometimes it's not working this way. You really want just to go out, just. And Shaul was in the same situation.